What's up, jet ski fans? Welcome to another Joel Arson YouTube video. Thanks for hanging out with me here. I do appreciate it. I've been very busy this week, both with doing stuff on the X2 and with my day job, and I actually wasn't going to release a video this Sunday, but then I remembered that I had a little bit of footage from the second build process of this engine. And so I decided I would post that so you guys can see that I'm actually putting the pistons in the right way this time. If you guys haven't seen my previous video where this engine blew up, that's what that's all about. The pistons were in backwards and yeah, it didn't last very long. So, I've been busy with doing something very exciting on the X2. If you want to see what that is, hang around to the end of the video. Those of you who follow me on Patreon will already know what that is. I've ordered a bunch of parts to rebuild a crankshaft. They should be here this coming week. And a few bits and pieces for the crash so I can start assembling that as well. I've made a lot of progress with the X2. A lot has happened since I've actually built the engine, but we're going to get into that. It's going to take some more editing, so I'm waiting a little while until I have more time. Who knows when that will be, to actually edit those videos together. So let's get into it. I will see you guys at the end. I saved you guys the agony of honing out the cylinders. I still have one left to do, so I figured I would film a little bit of it. But I've got the PTO and the center honed out. I'm running 6/1000 clearance. A little extra because these are forged Wiseco pistons. So I added approximately 1/1000th of an inch. So this is the last piston, the mag side. And as you guys can probably tell, that is pretty snug. So, let's see, I don't have a smaller than a 5 out. A 5 definitely is not going to go in there. Yeah, definitely not going to go in. There's probably, I don't know, maybe 2/1000 clearance there. I'll show you guys basically the process I've been using to hone these out. I've been working my way from top to bottom and flipping the cylinder around so that I don't wear any certain pattern in it. Anyway, I'll just show you. So what I've done there is 20 seconds of honing in each orientation just to make sure that I don't get any weird patterns going in the cylinder. Human error and also just the way the tool works can lead to weird patterns showing up, which would make the cylinder oval or just weird shaped. So anyway, that feels pretty snug still. I don't think I can fit the 5 in there yet, so we need to keep going. I'm not going to record all of this, but you definitely need to keep removing some material. After one more session, I have it honed out to a tight 5, so we still need to keep going. So that's what I'll do. So you guys may notice I'm not actually using the dial thing on here. I'm just using the centrifugal force of the stones. That seems to work quite well, and it is fairly quick. I don't know that I would necessarily recommend doing it that way, but I've done several cylinders this way now. I actually got recommended this method by jet ski brother Jacob, who was having some issues with his hone. I was using these really coarse 80 grit stones, and now I have the finishing stones in. I think they're 240 grit or something like that. Anyway, I'm going to go at this and do 10 seconds in each orientation instead of a full 20. And then we will be ready to basically chamfer all the parts, and then we'll have to clean it up and get it assembled. All right, folks, I do believe we are done. One more final check. Arrow down towards the exhaust. Shouldn't matter too much, but Slip the 6/1000 gauge in there. Slides in fairly easily. Comes out with a bit of effort. There we go. There's our 6/1000 gauge, which is 0.150 millimeters. The manual recommends 130 to 140, but because these are forged pistons, I did them a little bit bigger. So now we're going to mark this piston as mag. Now I need to chamfer all the ports, and then I've got a whole lot of cleaning to do. I've got a whole lot of cleaning to do, but before I do, I am going to run the hone through it once more just for a few seconds, just to clean up any scratches that I might have put in the liners. The battery went dead, but you guys didn't miss much. I am about to install the last piston. I've cleaned up the pin, everything's ready to go together. Arrow towards the exhaust, because that way your engine doesn't blow up from the ring snagging in the exhaust port. Can I put this one in with my fingers? Yes. I'm getting good at that. All right, it is in the groove. We'll check the other side to make sure there is a clip and that it is also installed in the groove, and it is. Okay, so now we just need to install the rings, clean up the cylinder, put some glue on it, slide it into place, torque it down, and all will be well. Let's give this a little bit of a wipe down. All right, I am going to apply some Loctite 518 anaerobic sealant stuff. I've got the glue down on the base of the engine, on the case of the engine, and I'm going to do a little bit of cleanup on the cylinder, and then I am going to attempt to put it together. I'm going to attempt to put it together the right way the first time. I have a really bad habit of installing cylinders on the wrong way, so the exhaust pointing towards the intake instead of the exhaust pointing away from the intake. I don't know why that is, but I've done it at least twice on this engine. All right, that piston is in. However, now we've got to get these two. So should we do the center one first? I think so. Let's arrow towards the exhaust, triple checking. All right, let's see if we can get the center piston up a little higher. All right, center piston is in, and I only touched my hand on the glue a little bit. One more to go. All right, that went quite well. Now I'm going to touch up the glue and then try to slide it all together. Final assembly. That's a joke, isn't it? This thing will be apart so many more times. One last check. Arrow towards the exhaust, arrow towards the exhaust, and arrow towards the exhaust. So let's slide these down into place. Dowel pins are in. I'm going to pop it up just a little bit and triple check those dowel pins. Yep, we got dowel pins. And now I'm going to get the nuts and torque them down. I went up into my attic and I grabbed this head. I don't know what it's off of. Maybe the C-Rat or maybe something else. It looks like it may have been machined a little bit at some point. So I'm going to give it a quick cleanup and we're going to throw it on this engine. And it should work just fine. Obviously not as pretty as mine. But yeah, mine is having some serious issues at the moment. So this will work better. I did a whole lot of work off camera and finished putting the engine together and got it in. I am disappointed at putting that color of a head on my newly powder coated engine, but I have fired it up already and it sounds nasty. I doubt it will pick up on camera very well, but I'm going to fire it up here and show you guys what I'm talking about. This thing just sounds so mean, like it wants to devour small children. It is so nasty. It is really difficult to test this thing or do any diagnosis on it whatsoever because as soon as I fire this thing up, I immediately feel guilty for all the noise I'm making, disturbing my neighbors. My neighbor on one side of me has an old classic V8 car, and when he fires that up, I think, yeah. But I don't think all of my neighbors feel the same way about me firing up my jet ski because it is absolutely obnoxious. So now that you've hung out to the end of the video, I will tell you guys the interesting project that I've been working on. I'm very excited about it. Not sure if it's actually going to work out. I've actually made quite a bit of progress on it. I had to build a tool, but let's get into what that is. So I damaged my cylinder head that I put a whole lot of work into. And so I've now got an OEM head. It's not this one. Currently an OEM head installed on the 1100 Triple. This head gives me about 95 to 100 psi, so not terribly impressive. The head that I modified last year, I recut the squish and did a few things to change the volume of it. I decked it basically. This was producing between 150 and 160 psi. I did a lot of polishing on it. It was a very pretty head until my engine blew up and completely destroyed it. So what I've decided to do, in a roundabout sort of way, I decided that I would try to build replaceable domes. So I popped my head into the mill, and in a very barbaric sort of way, I cut out an area like you would have on a, whatever, an O-ringed head where you would have replaceable domes. Pardon me, I'm battling allergies right now and trying not to sniffle a whole lot. So what I'm going to do is I've built a tool. I've actually started the process, and I'm going to try to put my own domes in here. So I'm building my own replaceable domes. I've cut out one of these. I haven't finished the process of doing that yet, but I'm going to try to build my own domes, replaceable ones, partly so that I can use this head, partly because it's just going to be a fun experiment, and partly because if it works, it will allow me to put different it'll allow me to put different design domes into basically a factory looking head. I think it's just a really cool project. Anyway, stay tuned for that. Before you guys see any of that footage, I guess unless you're following me on Patreon, you will see another ride video, my test ride, some more diagnostic work, and some other stuff. Anyway, that is going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know it wasn't the most exciting thing ever, but I figured I would give you guys a little something and a sneak peek at my upcoming project. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.